All right, that was a lot. Little speed up action just to get it going, but we're making some good progress this week so far. And I recorded something a little earlier I'm going to cut out, so I don't know how this is going to be all cohesive and stuff, but I'm going to try to make sure that I talk about everything, because I know I talked about some stuff already. Anyway, so we filled in almost the entire body. All of the meat in the middle here is all been fully welded, like it's permanent now. It's a little skinny. He's a little slender. He's a little slender guy, a little skinny here and there, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good with the side view here, and I think that's the most important view, obviously. Now, on the hind end here, I did not like it. It came too sharp to a point. So during the weld, I put the hind end on, but these three shoes, I don't know if you can tell over on this side, but I have these two dangling here because I ripped them off while I was welding on the inside here. And so this shoe up here, and then these two dangling ones, and then these three shoes here are going to be taken off. I'm going to take them off, and I'm going to reshape them a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit more bend into them, just so we can come out from the hind legs a little bit. I want a little bit more to come out just all around it. And before we do that, though, I think we're going to figure out how the hind end works with all of our pieces. We're going to try to figure that out. So that's on the back side for now. Let me turn this off. But everything up here is looking fantastic. And so these shoes here, the bigger ones here, they're very lightly tacked on. They have a couple more weld points now, so they shouldn't move. But they can move if I need them to, in or out, because that's where the legs are going to attach from. And so our next step from here is going to be the front legs. I know I said I was going to do the neck next, but I think I have to figure out how the legs look and sit on this guy, and then we could actually stop this huge wobble from happening if we can get the one leg on and clamped down. Then this thing will stop wobbling on me while I'm trying to brush it. So all of the welds on the inside, I don't know how well you guys can see, but I haven't brushed any of them just because it's so wobbly. I don't want like the legs to snap off before we can reinforce them better than we have. So for the front legs, we're going to need to make some more of the size 2 shoes straight and then reshape them again after, just like what we did with the hind legs. Thankfully, we have these 2 already, so I just need to find 2 more, I think. I might need a little bit more than that, just because one of the legs is going to be completely straight and come down on an angle here. And I think I'm going to make it touch the end of the table. I know I said it was going to come off the table, but I think that's too long, because I've been playing around with just holding these in places, trying to see where they would be. And I think this guy coming straight down this way, and then this guy back here will be curved up here, and it will be like holding its hoof up. But either way, I have to make the hooves now, which I still haven't figured out exactly what shoes I'm going to use, because unlike the sliders, I can't just make small versions of shoes we already have, because they have fullers in them. Sliders don't have fullers in them, and so when I make it smaller, it just looks like a smaller slider. But if I were to cut the shoes, I think I'm going to use these shoes. Whereas you can see the fuller goes right to here, and then there's a heel part of the shoe. Whereas on a slider, right, there is no fuller, it's just nail holes, and then the heel's really big, so I could cut and just make a smaller heel, like we did with those guys. But these guys, when I cut them, I'm going to be cutting so that the fuller comes right to the end of the shoe. Now, there are shoes like that. That's a thing. And so as long as I can make it look good, I can cut right to the, probably, I'm thinking I have to cut to the lowest nail hole, like cut that off and then make the shoe after that. We're going to test though, because I want them the same size as these, if not a little bit bigger. And then, because the front feet tend to be a little bit bigger than the back feet normally, so they can be bigger. So we might just cut just the heels off and then reshape it from there, and then see how that goes. And these two will be the bottom shoes that go on the bottom. And then for the shoes that go on top, we're going to use the same exact type of shoes we used for that, because we're going to do the same exact shape. I don't know if I have those exact shoes over in this pile here. I might have to pull them off my shelf. But they're perfect. These shoes were perfect for what they did for me. If I don't have more of those, then we'll probably just use Aventers, because we'll just use small Aventers, because I want the same type of heel and ankle that we made here, but we're going to make them a little straighter, so then, you know, everything's straight. But we still want that indent to happen, because that's what the feet look like. Part of my research recently, I've just been looking up like people's horse sculptures and stuff, and I am going a lot. I'm doing a lot to this that normally isn't done, unless the people are making like full-size horse sculptures. They tend to put a lot of detail and work into those. But most people, like, they wouldn't have reshaped all of these shoes here to make these hind legs. They would have just folded all of the shoes in half and welded them down, and then just put just a circle of shoes at the bottom for the foot. And so I'm really happy with how I've done the legs, but they're going to be hard to make look good in the final product when we've decided to put all of the detail work into the hind legs. So these shoes are going to stay off for the foreseeable future, and then they'll go back on when the detail work starts. Now, I haven't forgot about the neck. I have cleaned up 5 or 6 of these sliding shoes that need to be shaped and bent. And while I had the forge on a little earlier, I decided to play around with how this neck piece is going to come out. And so I thought I'd show it to you guys now. And so I just put a wave in it. So a nice wave. I was going to bend it so then the neck, they have a slender part of the neck and then it gets really, really wide. I don't know if we're going to build that into this sculpture. We might just go straight, kind of like we did with the horse head, and just use shoes to do that, and then go from there. But this guy would sit right here with kind of an upward angle, and then we would use this guy, and we're going to make another shoe almost like this, just without the toe wave. Everything else would be the same. And then it's going to keep coming around, because the head of the horse on the picture is coming down a bit. So we want to make sure that when we put this guy on, it's as perfect as we can get it. And then the neck is kind of going to get a little skinnier. But this doesn't come down right away. It comes down gradually and then over the head. And so we want it to come a little bit straight from here, right? And like we want it to come off straight. We're going to put bends in these shoes, but like we're going to fold them. We're not going to bend them. And then we're going to use them to make our neck start from here and then come over. This technically is part of the neck too. What is it called? The hump on the back of their neck. I can't remember now. It will come to me eventually. But I want to make sure that as we make sure that all of this is happening, the way we want it to. Come on. I want to see if this will stay here so we can vision it together. Hold up, hold up. Stay. I don't think it's going to stay. Okay, all the magnets. And then this guy goes here. I already know this magnet will hold it. So now we got the neck that's coming over this way, and then this guy's going to do a sharp turn down. So the neck is going to be kind of skinny, but it kind of matches the slenderness of the body. So we'll just call him athletic. He's just not obese. He's an athletic horse. We'll call him an Arabian horse. Arabian horses are really small and skinny. Quarter horses are small too, but they're kind of stocky. Like they're stocky. And quarter horses are what they use for this type of event, as far as I know. Don't quote me, because I am not a cowboy. I pretend to be one. But yeah, so that's basically where I'm coming to for the neck, and that's nerve-wracking. If I get the neck wrong, then the head will be wrong. And then the whole sculpture will be wrong if the head is wrong. So that's why we're going to try to get everything here done. Maybe not the back end, because that's more detail work than it is structural work. We'll get the legs done. Well, the one leg is structural, the other one's detail, but we might as well do them both at the same time. But those are going to take some work. We have to forge a lot of shoes and bending and all that kind of stuff. Especially for the leg on this side, on my side, is going to be up in the air and curled back. So that one's going to be iffy for me to do because I don't know how I'm going to do like the knee and stuff. So it'll be an interesting thing. Now, to finish off this portion, I think we're going to build the neck first, and I have to make some specific bent shoes because I noticed that my regular curves this way or the other way just aren't cutting it. They don't look good, but this one shoe is bent both directions. It's bent, it's folded and bent, and it looks really good here. And so I want to make 3 more of these so then we can bring them up into the neck, and then we can fill it in hopefully with our regular bent shoes. So then we're using every shoe that we forged over the course of some time here. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. But I don't want to put this on because it fits here, right? I want to make sure I have all of the things to put on and then go from there. So anyway, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to straighten some shoes. I'm going to try to cut and make the small shoes for the hoofs, and then we'll come back when we're piecing it all together, and then we'll figure out how the legs look. I'm really excited. It's coming together. It's getting there. It's really getting there. This guy might actually go down a little bit, just to give the neck a little bit more wide. I like it. I like it. We'll be back. Okay, so it's a little loud because I have the forge going, but we're working on the hoofies right now. So let me just get this piece on and we'll talk about it. And we'll see if they look any good. All right, they're just tacked for now, but we modeled them after, like we said, after the hind ones. They're just a little bit bigger than the hind ones were. I was struggling to get them just as small and still have it keep its shape the way I liked it. So we made them just a little bit bigger. And so we got the bottom here, and this one is more straight up and down because this is going to be the curved hoof, the one on the curved leg. Nope, this one is not that straight up and down one. This one is the straight leg. This one's the curve. You can see that, yeah, it's drastically at a 90-degree angle. I think that's going to work, but there is a potential that after these are all welded together just nice, that we put them back in the forge and just adjust them slightly before we actually put them where they need to be and whatnot. But this is just I want to see if it's good. This toe piece here is a little bit more crooked than I would hoped. I'm going to put a lot of weld in there and then grind it a bit and see if I can get that to work out. And right now is I'm going to try to make some of the leg pieces for the straight leg, and we're going to see just how well I can do this. So this piece is one of the curved pieces that we made for the hind end. We're going to straighten it back out a bit, and then put a new curve in it. So what we're hoping happens with this guy is that we bring it here on a little bit of a straighter. It's going to go like this. Then we want to, like, towards the top, we want to bring it out and into the top, or into the shoulder. To get where we're going. Now I know it doesn't reach. We're going to come up with a plan for that. But I want these guys to dry. I want these guys to cool down, and then we'll play around with the orientation of them. And so, unfortunately, with this one here, it looks like I use the same size shoes as we did with the back legs, but it's just so much longer here, which is not great. But I think I have potentially a solution. I just haven't found it just yet. So let's converse about that really quick. It's not a completely solid plan, but it will work. So if we take a bigger shoe, like a size 1 or so, which we have right here, and this is it needs to be a little bit wider, but I was thinking, just like we did on the deer, if I just add another shoe here, it might have to be a size 2. We'll get the clips off of there so it's not wonky looking, but we bring the shoulder down a little bit as well, and then that can help attach the legs to the rest of the frame, and then we can do some underneath decorating or detail work. is my thought at the moment, is that we do something like this just to bring it low enough so that we can get the pieces to attach. And this is why we put those bends in the tops of the legs so they can bend into whatever shoe we put here. So we'll finish building the leg with the long pieces, and then we'll figure out how to attach it afterwards. I think that's the way to go for this leg. For the other leg, we're going to do an identical shoulder, obviously, because we want it to be symmetrical. And then we're going to just build the leg off of that and then attach the hoof after, which will be nice. Now, speaking of hoofs, I still have to get the other 2 pieces per hoof cut and shaped in order to get these done. And so I'm going to do that right away here, but I figured I'd come in and show you guys the progress that I've made so far. I'm like weirdly, like, I wouldn't say nervous, but like my heart rate's going and I don't know why. But, so if I'm talking weird, that's why. I am kind of nervous about doing the front legs. So just because if I get these wrong, it might just throw off the way the rest of the body looks. But I don't think it's going to be too bad regardless. So either way, I have these 2 pieces. I cut the toe pieces out of this one shoe that I had over in the scrap pile, and so I got these pieces here that I think I can get 4 more smaller pieces out of, and I think these are actually higher. Yeah, these are higher than the other pieces, so I might not get all 4 pieces out of this, but I do have an extra piece of this. So if I math things correctly, I should be able to get 4 pieces out of this, and then we'll get the heels on, and then we'll weld everything down, grind it, and then maybe reheat it if we need to adjust them. The problem is with this straight leg, the straight leg is going to have its pieces welded onto it before I know if I have to adjust the hoof in any way. So we'll have to try to really weld it nice, because if I have to heat it, I'm going to have to heat the whole thing, which is fine. It's just I got to make sure I'm careful with it. And then as far as this leg is concerned, I have the 2 more pieces ready to go to shape into whatever shape I want, which is going to be pretty good. This piece here is posing to be pretty okay already. I just got to increase the bend on it, and it's going to be probably something like this. But we're going to make the bends a little bit more substantial and put some more definition into this guy, because we also want it to have the extension. And so it might sit a little bit lower than really anticipated, which is fine. So either way, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some time. I'm going to slowly and meticulously try to measure and grind these small little pieces and get them welded in here, and then get these cleaned up. And then as those cool, I'm going to get them on there, and then when we come back, we'll figure out just how the shoulder is going to connect to that one shoe. And so I'll probably clean up some size 1s and some size 2s, give them a little bit more of a wider, widen them just a bit, just so we can try to match up with the leg that's going to be coming. But things are coming along. Things are coming along, and I'm hoping today we get the legs on, and then we get the neck really started, and then hopefully for the next week it's just planning and getting the head done, which would be pretty awesome. So we'll be right back, and we'll try to get this guy mostly solidified onto the table. It'll be good. It'll be good. Okay. So we're a little further along than when I said I was going to bring you guys back. I don't know if I like it, but I like it. And so what I've done here is, if you just focus your area here, I got the hoof cleaned up, and then I added the leg pieces. So this front piece originally had the curve going into towards the inside of the shoe, and when I put it on, it kind of looked like it was like bubbly around the end of the hoof. So I heated it back up quick, and I put the curve in the other way, and just a less dramatic curve. And I think that really gave us a better look for the bottom part of the leg. I think the bottom part of the leg is looking pretty good. I'm as happy with that as I am the hind feet, so whatever that means. And then we left the same curves on the top, and then I shaped a couple of deltas. I think they're size 2 deltas. Or size 3 deltas. And I shaped a couple of deltas. I widened them like I said I was going to, and then I lengthened one side. So if you can see on this guy, this side is actually longer than this side, and it's a little bit more straight. And that gave me the length I needed to actually attach to this piece. So we did that, and then we matched it with another shoe. The only problem with this shoe is when it was originally shaped to fit its horse, they thinned out this guy, and they boxed it. They squared it off. So I had to reshape it, which made it even thinner. So if you look closely here, you can see that this side is a little bit thinner than this side. This shoe didn't have that problem. This one does. So we're going to use this one for the other side with the curved leg, because that should hide it a little bit better, since the curved leg will be coming up. Like you'll notice the curved leg before you notice a skinny shoe. So that was that mentality. And it's a worn horseshoe, just like every other shoe on here. It's been worn and used and that kind of stuff. So they can't be perfect. It's just the only problem I had is they weren't matchy-matchy. So what I want to do is I'm going to tack these into place here so I can get the clips off of it. And then from the front, it looks really weird. And so I'm going to try to turn it and show it to you guys. But we will see. But everything is seeming, the clips are barely holding everything together. So I want to get a tack here and a tack here first, just to get everything kind of where we want it to be, and then we'll take the clips off and then tack the other 2 points, and we'll go from there. So that should be enough to just take the clips off carefully. I might leave that clip on and actually get that tack in there now. To be honest, just because it kind of moved when I started taking the clip off. Oh, how am I going to get in there? Just like that. Well, my hand wiggled for a second there, so that's not looking good. But it will hold. That's the whole point. Okay. That's one. That didn't move. That's good. Okay. So now we can actively look at it, and it's got that wobble's gone now. Woohoo! For now. I mean, we got to really get that all put together nicely. And so if we look at it like this, it's kind of, it looks okay, but I really want to do something here just to make it, because it really just looks like the leg just darts into the body. So I'm thinking we put another shoe on the outside here. And I found this really wide size one eventer just laying around. And I think it would be really good to maybe just put a curve in it. We don't even need to take the clips off of this guy, but we can put a curve in it and get it kind of up in this area, right? So then it gives it a little detail in here and it brings it into the body. So that's a detailed job. So I'm going to keep the shoe off to the side because we'll want to do it on both sides. I'll have to find a shoe like this, or I'll have to make one. But that was my thought process was there. But if I can turn this, I'll show you. Hang on, let me just take a second here. And this welding table has two wheels on one side for easy like moving around for storage and stuff. It's not easy to move around while you're working on it. So these two shoes will probably fall off. So we'll just take them off now so we don't have any accidents. Okay, I really just want to show you guys what that front leg really looks like right now. So, oh, that's pretty sturdy. That's good. So if we look at it from the front view, we got the hole, but you can see that, here, I'll turn it a little bit more this way. Yeah, I think that'll be good. You can see that once everything is said and done, like there will be a neck here and a head that comes down. So it will cover a little bit from the front view, but I really don't like this empty space. And I know that we are going to detail the legs a little bit more. So one of the things I thought about doing in order to combat that space, after we figure out how we're going to detail the rest of the legs, is taking either one shoe and straightening it out and then putting a bow in it to connect them in between the legs, which I think would be pretty cool, right? Because then it's just one shoe and it covers and it fixes that one problem that I dislike about it. Or you take two shoes of roughly the same. We put a nice backwards bend into them, and we bring them up to meet in the middle like this. I kind of like this idea a little bit more, but then I was thinking, well, if we're going to do that for the front legs, we should do something similar to the back legs, and that's where the one shoe idea came from, is that if we want to do something to attach the back legs into the underside of the frame a little bit better, then the one shoe would work better than the full shoe. However, that's all detail work, and that's just the way my brain works, is that as I'm trying to get the structure, the main structure done, I'm thinking about all this little detail-y stuff the whole time. So yeah, so that's how this guy is shaping out. We got three legs 3 legs done. Now I have to decide. I know I made the hoof for this leg, but do I really want to make the leg and put it on now? That seems more of a detail-oriented thing. I think the neck and the head, at least the neck and the outside of the head, need to be thought about right away, just so we can actually have the full looking thing. That's the reason why I haven't taken the back apart again yet and put it on and put it back together with the new pieces. Is just because the frame is still there, so we really want to make sure that we're making progress towards an actual fully looking, nice looking sculpture. And then we can strengthen it out a bit. So one of the things I still need to do for the frame and the structure, as I need to go and strengthen everything after these heart bar shoes, these circle shoes. Everything towards the head still has it. They're all still just tacked on, and so I need to go through and tack all that or weld that all together now. And from there I'm going to build all the pieces for the neck. So when we come back, I'm going to take some time to get some of the neck pieces forged, and then I'm going to think about the 4th leg and see how we want it to work. So I'm just going to reshape some of these pieces and just play around with them, because straightening a shoe and making longer bars are fine. So I think I want to play around with this one a little bit more, just because it is a decorative, like the leg itself is just going to be like just a decorative addition, because it's not touching the ground, it's not holding anything back. Yeah. The one thing I didn't put in this front leg that I wanted to was like the knee. I was going to put a bend in there and then bend it back and just a little bulby thing. And I didn't do that strictly because they weren't long enough for me to make more curves. And in order for me to do this, I would have had to use like size 4 shoes. I think these are size 2 shoes, yeah. And so I would have had to use size 4 shoes, and those are thicker in the width department too. So it's it would have not matched the back legs as well as I would have liked. If I was going to make one of them thicker, it would have been the back legs. So yeah, we're coming. It's coming along. It's coming along. I'm really enjoying this part of the process of just puzzle piecing it all together. So now that I don't have to worry about it wobbling up and down like this after I get that fully welded, I'll be able to sleep easier knowing that the thing's in the middle of the night's not going to just fall off of the welding table because I left it just being held up by 2 legs the whole time. This thing is going to be really heavy. I can tell it's already as heavy as the deer, if not more so. And we don't even have a neck and head on it yet. So this thing is going to be very, very heavy. And I'm excited to try to move it around. Okay, welcome back. And I don't have a lot of time. It is already Sunday afternoon. I'm still waiting on that the delivery for my new external drive dongle thing, so I can transfer the videos, so I have more room to edit. Videos are pretty beefy when it comes to disk space, so who knew? Probably everybody, but not this guy. Anyway, so I've made a piece for the front left leg, and I've tacked on that other shoe, this shoe, but on the other side it's just barely tacked on right now. So what I want to do here is I want to get it on there a little bit better. I want to strengthen its weld. We'll put another weld over there, and then from there I've made this piece of the leg that's going to come off the front, and it's just going to just going to kind of stick out like this. And then I ran into a problem. So we can do this. I know it's hard for you guys to see from that side, but when we put this guy on here, right, there is very little space between, like, between the back of the heel of the hoof and then the back of the leg here. And so much so that I can't use this other piece that we have made. I didn't reforge this one into the proper thing because I realized this problem as I was making this piece, that either I have to make a piece like this out of a way bigger shoe or longer shoe, or I make the back piece out of a smaller shoe. And so since I already made this one, I'll probably try to get a smaller shoe to fit in there. But what I want to do is I want to get this hoof on here and kind of in its place. So then when I make that back piece, I can easily measure off of it. The only problem is that every leg is used a size 2 shoe for the length of the leg. This is a size 2 shoe. Size 2 eventer shoe, because some of them are different. And so it being curled under has caused a problem. So I don't want it to look weird using a different shoe. So I'm going to definitely try to find the same style of shoe. Either that or we just cut one smaller, but then it won't, like, I can cut it and weld it back together and try to make it look like one cohesive shoe. Or I can make it out of a smaller shoe, hopefully with the same width. So there's just kind of an issue here. And I've tried to figure out a way to be able to use that guy, or this guy here, but I don't know. But anyway, let me just get this stuff on there, and then we'll really see what we're working with. By we, I mean me, because I don't think you guys can see a damn thing with the orientation of this guy. Oh, I think I actually did it pretty well, given the circumstance. Let's see here. Yeah, that's really, really small in there. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Even with the smallest shoe I could ever muster, it would be very small. It would be too long. Huh. Well, I don't know how that's supposed to work. I think it's going to look weird. Well, let's show you what we got, and then we'll call it for the week so I can go and get this video done. Yeah, we'll turn it. Oh, it's shaking. There we go. We got the front view of the guy. And so, like, again, we're just really skinny. We're really slender. There's nothing here which we need to fix. And then on the outsides, it's just everything needs to just bubble out just a bit. If we turn it this way, a tad, or all the way. You can see that it's got the shape that we want it to. Sorry, I'm trying to see what you guys see here. It's got the shape we want. I don't know. I'm just wondering, oh, maybe we should have put it on the outside here. It still would, even with both of them on the outsides, which we kind of have on the other one, which I could fix. I mean, I know I put this one on here pretty good, but I could still get it off. And we just move it to the outside of the shoe. Gives us another inch or so. But if you can see here, like, I can do all the fanciest bending in the world, and this still wouldn't work very well. I'm thinking, though, that maybe I do cut it, and then I just create a new heel on there so it still looks the same. But, yeah. I'm just going to have to just play around with something and try to get it in there. But yeah, things are looking okay. With the 1 foot up in the air like this, though, you can really see how big the hoofs are. They look kind of like clubbed feet in a sense. So there's that. But I mean, again, that's more detail work to be done at the end if we want to try to adjust that in any way. But I think I'm going to just have to call it there. I made a couple of pieces for the neck that are just cooling down over there. They're probably cool now, but I'm not confident in them, so I'm going to just check them out off camera in between the weeks here. And then I'm going to figure out the leg, and then when we come back next week, we're going to work on the neck and head, because those are the next two big things. The tail is a huge thing, but like the tail and the mane are going to be really hard for me. Just because I don't think I'm particularly good with that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about using rasps, just because it gives it that texture, that I like. But I'm going to have to cut so many strips of rasps, just because the rasp itself is just really big or like really wide. So if the mane were to start like up here, I mean, maybe I just cut them in half long ways and then shape them the way we want. I don't know. That's if we do that. If not, we're just going to use pieces of horseshoe. We're just going to cut shoes in half and just start like straightening them and bending them into wisps of hair. But the tail needs to start up here and then it's going to come down and then curve out, but also be on the same plane as the feet. So we want to get the head and the neck done. And then we're going to take this guy and we're going to slide him. We're going to slide these feet all the way to the end here. And then we're going to build the table or the tail down to the table. So then we know it's where it needs to be on the ground. So that's how that's going to get done. So that's why it's going to be last. Yeah. But thanks for watching this week. Thanks for hanging out. And we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. We got all of the body shoes on. We're going to redo the hind quarters. And we're going to just add one more bar to the front legs. And then it's just all head and tail. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again next week.